on the government decision to uncap get fund to finance free tertiary education for persons with disabilities has been met with mixed reactions. While students living with disabilities welcome the initiative, they are also worried about the situation.
The Finance Minister, Dr. KCL Atufolsen, on Tuesday, 11th March 2025, announced a raft of measures to improve the education sector. And among this measure is uncapping the GET Fund to provide a dedicated funding to support free tertiary education for persons living with disability. Today, on Decks and Ground, we're here at the University of Ghana to interact with some students with disability, to know their thoughts on the budget presentation and the expectations they have from the government. Hello, gentlemen. Hello. I have here with me Sammy, Jude, and Foster. First of all, did you guys listen to the budget presentation? You listened to the budget presentation. And what was your expectation?
Most of the expectations were met. Especially when it comes to the promise by the NDC government about free tertiary education for special students or people who have disability or students who have disability in the tertiary level. Well, I would say that it's a good thing. It's a good thing that the government has thought of this initiative to help people who have disabilities. There is economic hardship, right? And on top of it, we are also disabled, or we are deficient in some ways. So it's like a double down effect. Yeah. And I think this initiative will go a long way to help some disabled people, or even all disabled people, to get free access to tertiary education.
So for you as a person with disability, how challenging has it been financing your education?
Yeah, taking care of persons living with disability, especially those of us using wheelchair or white cane, or those of us who can see, the campus is very big. So for you to find your ways, you have to board a car to wherever you are going if you don't get anybody to assist you. And here is the case. Most of our senior colleagues, we are coming from different schools. So most of them have never seen a visually impaired before. So sometimes when you go to a lecture hall, you want to sit by them, then they'll stand up from that place. So if you go to our various lecture halls, you could see the segregation. The special students are just sitting in front together. Yeah. So we want the government to educate the public that if we are blind or we are disabled, does not mean we are not human beings. We can also think. And also the government, we are pleading with the government that for the free tertiary, we are very happy about it. He should provide maybe a minibus for the public universities that can convene us to class. Even if you find out from some of the lecturers, if they will tell you the truth, most of us, we don't go to class. We just rely on the materials that the lecturers they post on Sakai or our learning platform. So we are just in our rooms studying just because of financial challenges.
Sami, I'll come to you. We've spoken about the challenges that they face as persons living with disability. You don't have any disabilities.
Yeah, but I've been with them.
Exactly, you've been with them for some while. Yeah. What are some of the challenges your friends that have disabilities have shared with you?
Okay, mostly those that have disabilities, one major problem that I've seen is they find it difficult locating helpers in terms of personal assistance.
But why do you think this is so?
It's so because people have this kind of mindset that when you are with a person with disability, I don't know whether they feel it will get attached to it or yeah. So even me moving with them, sometimes my colleagues sometimes look at me, question me, why are you around? Hey, so you go with this. Even when you are crossing at the roadside, you see people watching at you, like it's like there's something extraordinary on you, but. So if the government is saying he's going to provide for them in terms of higher education, that's tertiary education, one thing that the government must put in place, an initiative, there should be a team or there should be a board that oversees mobility for people with disability. If it will be easier or it will be very convenient for the government, I think with the bus is very, very important. A day they spend my foster sometimes spend about 300 cedis just a day.
Yes. On transportation.
Transportation
hold on. So, Foster, you spend 300 cedis a day on transportation.
Yes, please.
Can you just break it down for me? Just within the campus or outside campus?
Within the campus.
300 cedis. That's a lot of money. Break it down.
So I have lectures 4 times in a day. So let's say you are picking a Uber. When I pick the Uber and the Uber arrive at my hall, I have to manage and come out from the hall because maybe my roommate they are not around, so I have to manage and be walking slowly. So by the time you get there, the waiting time is over. Yes, so by the time you get to your destination, maybe it's 30 cedis or 35 cedis. And when you are returning, you know, most of the time in the afternoon to boat and Uber, they are very expensive. Then sometimes too, if I want food from night market and I'm pleading with someone to go and buy it for me, it means I have to motivate the person to. So I have to pay, maybe I'm buying 40 cedis. I have to buy 40 cedis for the person to, so that next time when I call the person will go. So those are the expenses that we.
Provision of free tertiary education, I think, is a step in the right direction. But what else? You mentioned mobility challenge. What else do you think the government can also do to encourage more persons living with disability to go to tertiary institutions, to pursue tertiary education?
Okay, for me personally, I would say there should be more inclusive schools, especially in the secondary level. There are 6 schools in the whole Ghana that practice inclusive education when it comes to senior high schools. And it's a problem because if, let's say, I'm living at Accra, and some of the schools are in Volta, my options are a little bit not, they are not wide, right? My options for schools in terms of the senior secondary level is not wide. Therefore, I'll say, oh, if that's the case, I'll better stay at home because after all, if I go to the secondary school, it's another cost on its own. So I think that's a major thing.
Foster, it's one thing for government to pay tuition for persons living with disability. But after school, what next? Employment is a big issue. Even for persons without disability, they finish school, they don't get employed. They are roaming about the streets, there's no job. How much more a person living with disability? What do you think government can do to encourage organizations to employ persons living with disability? And even
Okay, what I think the government can do is that they should pass a policy or a law so that when the job opportunities are open, there should be a quota for persons living with disability. Yes, that's what I believe, because if there is no law or a policy that's compelling an organization that at least you have to employ one person with disability, I don't think they will do it. So there should be a law. There should be a law or a policy that they will implement, effective one, of course, so that it will compel all the organizations, both public and private sector, to employ persons living with disability.
After free tertiary institution, what's next for them? Employment. How am I going to make sure that after they have completed university, they what? Get employment. So I think the government has to play a significant role, should take the first baby step before others will follow. And by so doing, if the government takes a bold step, make sure that policies are implemented, policies are formulated and implemented, I think it will bode well for disabled people, and it will bode well for the country at large.
so we've been speaking to some gentlemen from the University of Ghana, persons living with disability, and they've outlined some of the challenges that they face, challenges like mobility, difficulty moving around campus. They're also calling on government to institute more inclusive senior secondary schools, and also they want government to ensure that social welfare works. From the University of Ghana here in Accra, my name is Esther A.C. Nkrumah. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time.